Hi, and I'm Marvin, and I am a developer and researcher, co-founder at Arc Labs literally. So we wanted to talk to you about your products, and so you give us a bit of insights and information on on the products and everything in between. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Chiamaka. I'm the founder of Streamlink. Yeah. So Streamlink is like essentially like a live stream tool of like meeting app, right? That enables you perform Solana transactions in stream. You can be essentially enable stablecoin tipping, like transactions like tipping, which enables stablecoin tipping in stream.
Mm.
The primary I think the primary feature or is that users don't need to leave their app to perform Solana transactions. They can do so while in their app. Like they don't need to leave the stream, they don't need to leave the call to be able to perform transactions. They do that while they're there.
Okay, that's awesome. We're gonna ask a couple of questions. So probably like
Yeah.
the first question is, what specific Nigerian user behavior or pain point led you to build Streamlink? Could you describe for me like the typical user that uses Streamlink and probably their daily money habits in relation to tipping and the likes?
Okay, so sorry, I'm echoing. Can you hear me?
I can
I think it's because of you. I'm echoing.
me.
Yeah, because whenever I echo, yeah, I don't echo anymore now that I've muted. So yeah, so the when you say typical Nigerian user, anyway, my Streamlink was built in response to a certain problem when like super team NG community calls. I mean, I won't say we built for like the average Nigerian user because I really don't think a lot of Nigerians are like crypto savvy. A lot of Nigerians don't know what stable coins are. They don't know what crypto is. They have like very limited understanding of what of what crypto is. Especially like so I won't say that we built for like the average Nigerian user anyway. But like I said, so crypto communities are like our major customer base, our major users, and then their habits in relation to like money. I'm not sure I can actually answer that because. But what I can, oh wait, sorry, please can you ask the question again? Because I think that I might have gotten confused somewhere along the line.
So the question is like in twofold. The first part says,
Okay.
what's the pain point or behavior you discovered that led you to this product, right? And number two is, describe your typical user and their daily money habits in relation to why you included financial stuff in your payment system, in your streaming system. Did you get the
All
question?
right. Yeah, I get that. So the first question is the pain points. So for the pain points, it was more like when users so let me give you like a little bit of a backstory to like why streaming was like why streaming is what it is now, or like the idea behind streaming, at least as we started building the idea behind what's pivoting to what we do now was like super team NG community calls, then we join the community calls, and every time somebody answer the question correctly, you would have to like first of all you type it in the chat box, and then they have to scroll all the way down, sorry, all the way up to find out if the first person that got the question correctly, and then that person would like message someone later, message the admin later with their wallet address, and then they will get their funds, right? So there was like a long wait time. Transaction, it was not instant. So even if you win now, you don't know, you might not get your money for like 1 week because you might message the person and the person is not available. And then when they're available, and there's like a go back and forth. So there was like a long wait time for payouts. It was not instant. So I feel like in my head, I just felt it could be better, right? So that was like the pain point I noticed, like how, and these calls happened every week. So every week somebody wins money, and every week that person can't get their funds till only God knows when. Like every week, those guys have to wait for like a long period for their payouts. So yeah, so that was like the pain points, like the essentially the main pain point that made us set to allow Solana transactions in Stream and made us build for that. Then okay, so typical user behavior in relation to, personally, I'm not really sure I can answer that question correctly. But I think that at least from the pain points, you might get the gist of what like the habits are of how of people having to like perform like wait to, if you have a wait time, transactions are not instant. So the typical behavior of our users in relation to tipping of that market base, I think that actually if you use like places like let's say like, okay, take for instance now, let's just even leave the whole crypto community. Let's move into let's just come to the creator community. Like think about like creators and streamers in general. Platforms like TikTok, for example, I like enable you to like tip creators, right?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, a lot of all those platforms are not necessarily like those. A lot of those platforms don't allow and really enable payments in Nigeria. So a lot of times, creators are not paid as much as, especially in Africa, as much as people outside Africa, right? They be paid less, and then the percentage and whatnot. So if somebody wants to gift you on TikTok, the person would have to buy a gift, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then now, so first of all, now the person is converting their money to let me I don't know. I won't say TikTok tokens, but I mean
No,
that
no,
just came from
they
like the
actually
space.
tip. They're actually called tip tokens. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So someone has to buy TikTok the tokens, right? And then when they buy that, then that's what they now gift. Now, if this creator wants to get their money, the money that they were gifted out, they would have to move this money from the token to fiat, like to their currency, right? So that process in my head is just quite cumbersome. Like, why does someone need, like, why can't someone just send stable coins like on the call? I can just gift you like stable coins. I don't need to buy Google Meet token or TikTok token, then gift it to you, and then you, when you now want to change the, when you now want to get the actual currency, the value, you now have to do the whole swap back, right? So
Mhm.
in my head, I just think that that could actually be easier. So I guess like that, you could think of that as like the behavior with tipping in general. I hope I answered your question.
Mm.
Hello, Marvin. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think you have. I think you have. I think you have. I think you explain it. But you said that you don't know how to answer the question in the first place. That's quite. Well,
I've actually not this. I'm just exhausted.
okay. So the next question is, how did you validate that this problem was worth solving actually? And what are the assumptions you had to about the users that you had to unlearn during the process of validating this problem?
Okay, so how did I validate that this problem was worth solving? That's the question, right? That's the first question.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I think that question I really answered that in the sense that I've been like the first example I was giving, and I've always talked about how Streamlink is largely built around Super Team NG, and it really is. Like, in as much as hopefully we would actually advance other communities, I really hope we do, and then we get bigger and more users. But like the Streamlink idea came from Super Team NG, like it came from joining Super Team NG calls and thinking in my head, how can this be better? So I think that was actually already validation enough, right? I mean, I already saw that there was a customer base for this, and I was just trying to fill in that gap. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Mhm. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
How
Let
do
me, let me mute myself. Huh? When
okay,
you're just echoing.
okay. So what assumptions did you actually have to like unlearn in the process?
Okay, so assumptions about the users. I think there are a lot of features and that like that I added so much that I had to even remove later. Like I can't, like off the top of my head, I think it's maybe the certain features that I thought that users would like or users would use or they would be so excited about that. I ended up realizing that they were not that much psyched about it. So I guess those ones like came off, right? So
Okay.
most of the assumptions I made were on the product side, on the feature list, right? For assumptions about users, I don't think I'm. Well, I mean, that was actually also like an assumption about user because like, there's certain features I thought that can solve certain problems or that users really like this feature and whatnot, and then they ended up not being so crazy about it, if you get what I mean. So yeah.
Okay. So you are building a blockchain. You are building on blockchain, but your app feels like a traditional video app, right?
Yeah.
So now, how do you achieve that, right? And what value proposition that you offer that actually resonates with users that do not care about decentralization? I know that you say that you're focused on more on crypto communities, but there should be a bigger perspective towards how you want people that are not involved in crypto to actually came to benefit in terms of for creators and for fans or community for creators can be able to like adopt Streamlink, right? What is your value proposition to them? What do you want to offer to them? Because we both know that they don't really care about this digitalization of a thing.
Okay, so when you talk about decentralization in this aspect, like in relation to streaming, what do you really mean?
So decentralization, when I talk about decentralization in Streamlink aspect is what happens with Streamlink that is different from what happens with normal other platforms that do streaming or do videos that allow people to be able to tip people doing calls is that
Okay.
the money hold on, the money that is being tipped goes into the centralized system and the user have those tip tokens or those tip money and the money is not sent directly to the whoever is being tipped because it's actually done within the platform, right? And the platform now decided what amount they are willing to give to the person that is being tipped. But with Streamlink now, you are actually, according to my understanding, I'm not the founder, actually, you're the founder. You can actually bypass this process because every transaction happens through the blockchain. So the money ends up in the user's wallet, of which it is controlled by the users and not Streamlink in both cases. So yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. So now the question you asked was in relation to Web2 users. You said, how do I handle Web2 users that don't care about decentralization? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Now, I don't actually think that there's any creator that does not want, that does not want to have access to their money without like the drawbacks and the limitations of centralization. If you get what I mean,
Mhm.
like where I don't think there's anybody. So first of all, right, I think Streamlink tries to do the like. Okay, so first of all, when it comes to setting apps that are like Web3 apps, they do like I mean the UI, the certain things feel different. Like sometimes people say they're like clunky and difficult to use. But like Streamlink tries to not be like that in the sense that unless someone actually tells you, or else maybe you realize, oh, I can actually tip stable coins like while, or I can send stable coins while doing the stream. I don't think you ever actually realize that you're dealing with a Web3 application. First of all, when users sign up, we generate a wallet address from their Google account. So users sign in with a Google account and a wallet address is generated from them. Everybody does Google signing. I don't think there's anybody that can see that they've never done a Google signing. It's like almost impossible, right? So we try to abstract that whole clunkiness of the Web3 apps that people say, again, I'm just repeating what I've heard. That people say, oh, like certain Web3 apps are clunky, the UI is this, yeah. So we try to like take all that away. When users are interacting with streaming, they don't necessarily know that is, if you come on the app and you just do calls and hop up, you don't even really understand the Solana transactions because you don't use it, right? So you just come, you do the calls you want to do, you sign up with your Google account. You don't even really realize that the wallet is being created for you. You only realize this when you want to maybe accept tips or you want to tip users or you want to tip other people. Then you can realize, oh, you know what? I have a wallet address. So we kind of abstract that whole Web3 whole thing away from that and just let users just deal with it, like they deal with the app, the website, just the way they would deal with any other regular Web2 website. Now, for centralization stuff you said, I genuinely do not think there's anybody. Now, first of all, you do not have to perform transactions on the app. You feel free to just jump on a call and do your thing and just hop off. It's fine, it works. But down to like money, tipping, the financial aspects. I genuinely, in my mind, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that there's anybody that does not want to have access to their money. I don't think there's anybody that wants people being telling them, "Oh, this is a percentage of your money you get. This is what this is. This is what that is." So, I think that in terms of decentralization, especially with creators, especially in Africa, I'm not sure anybody's going to prefer centralization over decentralization in this aspect. If you get what I mean.
So I agree with what you mean, right? So we've talked before prior to this particular conversation, and I've come to realize that streaming is kind of like a very most streaming platforms are very attractive. Probably, I think probably because they make more of their money from streaming, right? From the streaming activities, but the process is not actually lucrative for the people that actually are bringing the value to the platform. It's more like an extractive process. I think that is the general norm of how most Web2 marketplaces, e-commerce platforms, or social media platforms or streaming platforms behave, right? But giving someone the ability to be able to, um, what is it called, own their own money or their own tips without somebody else giving them, taking that control from them. I think it's a very good value proposition, if you would ask me. So yeah, I think it's an awesome approach. And I definitely think that's something that Web3 can actually do. And I love the concept of you not letting people be able to know that their wallet is created via Google. I think that particular system for Google is something that is going to change a lot of platforms and make Web3 easier as possible, right? Because now anybody can spin up a wallet address with just using their email addresses with Google. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so
Thank you.
the next question will be what I know probably I don't know whether I will say this, but let me probably just ask. Okay, so what crypto jargons did you deliberately remove in the tipping stuff, like from your interface in terms of the tipping or wherever you remove them, and and how did you explain the benefits like of this particular tipping stuff that is involved in your platform that does not use blockchain language? Because I know if you want to make people that are in Web2 to use the platform, definitely not going to be involving too many fine crypto terms in the interface. Yeah.
Um. So initially,
Mm,
please can you mute again?
mm,
So initially, we used to the first version of streaming that was actually available before public use had like wallet address. So initially, we used to let you like either choose to sign up with your Google account. Like so, initially we tried to cut out like maybe let's say Web2 users that okay coming up they can just if they don't have a wallet address or anything they can just sign up with their Google account. And then users that want maybe they already like Web3 savvy that have wallet addresses or know what they are, or have phantom wallet, software wallet, backpack wallet. We try to like incorporate like for these two users, right? And a lot of times, like I got feedback that people say, "Oh, people don't want to connect their wallet address. They don't want them to rock them. They don't want them to do this." And then a lot of all those stuff, like we go. So part of the terminology we had to remove. Like first of all, we took away that interface, and then people can only sign in with their Google account. So we took that away. So when you come in, your wallet is native to Streamlink. You do everything you want to do there. And so first of all, we had to take away that whole wallet interface. That was like the first thing we took away. And okay, because I also have people join the call and be like, "What is wallet? I don't understand. I don't have like all those asking about backpack and all that stuff." So we first of all, like I said, we took away that whole interface. Then there were also like maybe like little things in the app that told people, "Oh, connect your wallet, do this," and then I think that we kind of had to take away everything that was like related to like wallet interface, so that users don't actually even realize it. That, oh, we have a wallet generator, we're interacting with a like a blockchain application kind of. So like that was like the first thing we did, take away like everything that related to connect your wallet here. We took that away. So it's easy for so people don't get scared and skeptical. Now, sorry, I'm trying to remember the second question.
So how did you, so the second question is
Please, can you remind me the second?
how did you explain the benefits to your users without actually bringing blockchain jargons along? Like, how did you explain it without using blockchain slangs?
Okay, so first of all, I just took it out. Like the major thing was the wallet. Like every other thing. Like so, the thing is that Streamlink is a Web 2 application. I would say maybe like a mix of Web 2 and Web 3. Yeah, I think so. So
More like a hybrid, I would say I would call it. More like a
exactly.
hybrid.
Are you talking to me? Are you telling me they're coming?
Yeah, I say more. It's more like a hybrid platform because it's not completely Web three in all case. Because
Exactly.
yeah,
And like that was intentional because I wanted it to be like well, like say like low hanging fruit sort of. There's a word I'm looking for. Shit. There's a word I'm looking for that I can't remember. But the word like basically like make I wanted it to be easy for people that had no blockchain experience, no Web 3 experience to use it. And bear in mind that a lot of times when I actually even said build, when I actually initially started doing streaming, I was not, at least I didn't know how much about Solana as I do now. And like, I'm still learning, but like, I mean, as at then, I actually knew a lot less than I did now. So I wanted it to be easy for people like me that are just coming to a lot of words flying around. There's transaction, there's this, there's airport. There's a lot of words that are just flying around. And you're just confused and overwhelmed. So I wanted it to be easy for people that were just like coming into this space to use, right? So the first thing we did was just essentially just take away all that stuff and then make it easy for people to interact without actually realizing that they are doing any blockchain thing. So like when you're doing transactions and all that stuff, you know that you're sending money. Like you might understand how it works, right? But you don't need to. I was just like you going to your Phantom wallet and sending money. You know that there's money in your Phantom wallet and then you can send it out. You don't necessarily need to understand the underlying detail or the underlying tech behind it. So yeah, that's what we did. I hope I answered your question.
yeah, you did, yeah, you did. So I'll give an example. So um, my team and I, we are working hard to integrate with okay, we integrated with Dynamic actually. You know Dynamic Wallet now. Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
know dynamic. Yeah, I use dynamic. Yeah, I used
yeah,
dynamic initially, sometime last year. I know dynamic.
yeah. That means both of us are technically using you. So the reason why we use Dynamic is because yeah, our platform can allow for both for two type of integrations, right? So with our platform, you can log in with your normal backpack, Software, whatever, right? And also with our
Yeah.
platform, you can also log in with your email address or your iPhone ID, right? So the aim is to give a variety. So we want people to be able to come into our platform and use our platform from the Web3 axis and also to be able to use our platform from the Web2 axis, right? And we
Yeah.
are doing that in a way whereby we've tried as much as possible to eliminate most of the blockchain jargons that are there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
point. That's the main point of creating a system where you keep little or no technical stuff. And I've been trying my best to abstract as much as possible these particular things from the platform. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is it. So
Yeah, I think that because a lot of times people can get overwhelmed when they come and they don't really understand what is happening. They're like, why is this here? Why is that there? They're like a lot of words, and people in general, like I've seen people say that like crypto is not like crypto's UX is not great, and I genuinely think it's true because it's not easy for people that don't really have like knowledge, especially like prior knowledge, to interact with that. So I think that abstraction does make sense where people don't have to realize they don't have to know that they're doing a blockchain application. Just use it. Come and do what you want to do. And it also does make sense because if a wallet is like limited to let's say now someone uses this wallet on you. I think you guys no longer call yourself Chatter wallet. You're now calling yourself Chatter what now? Sorry.
I'm not in Chatter Wallet too. I wasn't talking about Chatter Wallet.
Wait, I thought you were Chatter Wallet's co-founder because I remember that you pitched Chatter Wallet at the
Yeah,
start of
yeah,
the
yeah,
age.
yeah. It was. I
Okay.
left literally. I don't know why you're asking me this
Oh,
question, but I left. I'm not.
yeah,
Can,
I was going somewhere with what I was saying. Then
no,
that's
no,
why I
you
was
can go
asking the
ahead.
question.
I know about Chatter Wallet as well. So,
Okay, so I was saying that I assumed you were talking about Shutter. I was like,
okay.
shit, I lost my train of thought.
They're not
But I was
Chatter, right?
saying how users are able to use like okay like a wallet, sorry, a wallet that is like it's just like a Google account, like a wallet that is central to like again Chatter wallet, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Chatter app. I don't know. So a wallet that's central to that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
users cannot if someone if this app this wallet is central here. So it's not like somebody connects their wallet, their phantom wallet or their backpack or whatever. Like let's even say for users that are really like crypto savvy and whatnot. And then tomorrow they come and say, oh, somebody drained me, something, something. The only place I connected my wallet to was here, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
actually bad PR for you, whether or not that you guys were the one that drained them. You guys were most likely not the one that drained them because if they're connecting their wallet so freely, they're probably connecting their wallet almost in more than one place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting drained. The first place they remember is probably the because was just going to be the culprit, if you get what I mean. So like it's always easier. Like I think aside from like it's been easy for like Web2 users to use. It also does make sense that at least this wallet is centralized to this application. If you come on Streamlink generated the wallet for you, you use the wallet when you are done. If you want to send your funds out, you send your funds out, and that's just pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
So Streamlink wallet, it's not like you can go and connect the wallet that Streamlink gave it to anywhere else, but if you do and then you maybe you're able to export your wallet by some stroke of luck and then you get drained, you know it's not Streamlink if you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand. I understand. So the in all the platforms I've worked in with both Chatter and what we are building right now, basically it has always been user has to control with their own key, right? And so they know that when
Yeah.
they fuck off, it's not us that actually drain them literally. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's like a good priority. So the next question I want to ask is why did you prioritize withdrawal first approach? How does that
Please
reflect?
come again.
Why did you prioritize withdrawal first approach? Why did you prioritize withdrawal first approach? And how does this reflect your understanding of the Nigerian psychology around money and trust? What I meant
Okay,
is
so when you
that
say withdraw fresh approach, what do you mean, please?
let me try and explain what withdrawal approach is about. Any
Mm,
system where the user is in control of their wallet and they can always take away their money anytime they want is called a withdrawal
okay,
first approach. Do you understand?
all right.
It's
Yeah, I
such a
understand
way
that.
whereby the user has access to their funds at any time and nobody's like
Yeah,
tying their funds for them, literally, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so our question here is how does this reflect your understanding of the Nigerian user psychology around money and trust?
Okay, so first of all, I think that I mean, if we didn't do like if we didn't prioritize like withdraw first approach, I think that would be like a defeat of what we're trying to achieve. Because take for instance, if you go to Phantom, once you have money there, you can withdraw your money. So why should people not be able to move the money they have from they are made from their streams, their earnings, their tipping, their tips? They should be able to move that. It's their money. They should have access to it, unlimited access to it, that they can move it around anytime and anyhow they feel. So I mean, I don't. I when you say why did I prioritize, I'm not genuinely able to answer that question because if in a decentralized app, I think that's what it is. It's just like saying why does Phantom allow us to withdraw our money? If you get what I'm trying to say. Then the why withdraw money from Soulfly or backpack? I think that's just it's something that is supposed to be. You're supposed to have access to your money. You're supposed to have unrestricted access to your money. It's your money. Then the second question was, please come. I don't know. Is it possible you ask the questions one by one so that at least like I remember?
I'm asking
So I don't have to keep
most
asking
of the
the second
questions,
question.
they come together, literally, like a chain of thought, literally. So it's Okay, the second question is simply like what should I even say? The second, hold on a minute. The second question is how does this particular how does this particular withdrawal first approach reflect your understanding of the Nigerian psychology around money and trust? That's what I asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, right. How does it reflect my understanding? I mean, I'm Nigerian. I genuinely understand that people want to always have access to their money. Like for instance, like if I were to hold your money and I want to give you your money, you would definitely not like. So, and again, I think that a lot of times people are actually very untrusting about crypto applications, especially in Africa, Nigeria, especially. People are actually quite trusting. They're like, oh, how do you know that's not a scam and things like that. So, I mean, if people are able to move their money all willy nilly at their own pace, their own freedom, I think that kind of resolves that issue for them. Like the trust issue, they don't feel like they have been scammed or they're about to be scammed. And I think generally as Nigerians we're always like the first thing that comes to our head is like, wait, this person is about to scam me. I think that and I mean rightfully so because more than all, if you don't take care, if you don't share your eye in this country, you see pepe. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know if I answered your question correctly because the second question I'm still trying to understand it essentially. But yeah, I hope I answered your question correctly.
No, 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 there's no like wrong answer. The moral of the answer is just to get your own perspective of the market. Literally. So yeah,
Yeah.
you are right about what you said. Literally. So my next question is probably how do you guys how do your typical user discover your product and how do they discover the product? So just help us to understand how they go from using it for the first time to continuously using it.
Okay, so how do users discover our products? I guess they can actually maybe if I were to invite you on a call for they're saying this Streamlink link, you discover the product. So it's usually like word of mouth essentially.
Mhm,
Like most of our users are like return users.
mhm,
Most of our users knew about Streamlink from like someone using it. I remember you said that you didn't really understand or didn't know Streamlink until you got on a call with on Eddie. You and Eddie got on a call with Streamlink. So like there most of our users basically like word of mouth. Like people know Streamlink from like referrals basically, essentially. That's what I'm looking for. Referrals. Yeah.
okay, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, the next question is basically
I don't know, you're muted. You started talking then you muted.
basically so okay okay so how do you I realize that you acquire your users through so aside crypto marketing means right what other way do you acquire users? I know, yeah.
Hon- Honestly, we actually haven't started marketing
Okay.
because we're still quite sincerely Streamlink is still in the testing phase. Like at this point we're just like we're testing, we're getting feedback, we're improving, right? So up until like we're done and we're sure that okay, you know what, this thing can hold this amount of users, this stuff works and a lot of people can use it. I think that's when we can now go into marketing, like proper marketing, the way you know like a company to actually pursue marketing is something that we're going to do. And then maybe at that point we can now know, okay, you know, where else do we get our user base from? But like right now it's mostly like word of mouth and referrals. And again, it's largely because we're still in testing, we're still testing, we're still in development, we're still like in beta, we're going back and forth. So we're
Hmm.
still iterating and whatnot. So like after that, like when we're done with that, then we can now like go into full blown marketing and understand the metrics and where our user base is from and whatnot.
Okay. Okay. So, um, okay. Currently, how do you build or and measure the trust with you measure engagement and build trust with the users that are skeptical about new financial product? I know your product is new. The new type of streaming is also new. So, how do you build trust with these people that probably are going to be bringing their fans or their community to stream on your platform, right? And also engage with tipping. So how do you measure your engagement and also build trust with them currently, even though you are still in the testing phase? Yeah.
Okay, so to build wait, I'm still echoing. Hello? Okay, I'm no longer echoing. So the way we build trust to user, I think is majorly okay. So first of all, we try to and I think it's something that maybe everybody does. Everybody that is like has their everybody that every company or does, every product does. But we generally try to like get our users feedback. Like we always like to let our users know that they are heard, right? If you report issues to us, we fix that and stuff like that. So I think that helps build trust where users feel like where users know that their feedback matters, their feedback is important, their feedback is needed. And then even as we are still testing, but users are still able to. So I think first of all, I think the first approach we took to building trust was the stuff I told you earlier about yanking the wallet out. Hi Marvin, can you still hear me?
I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
Your note taker has left. Is that intentional?
Yeah, it usually leaves.
Okay. So I was saying that the first step we followed was to take the wallet out because I think that was also like because at least in the first instance, like exactly what I'm saying about user feedback was based on user feedback that we took it out because I kept getting feedback. I got feedback that it's users don't want to connect their wallet. Is this? Is that? They would feel scared. You don't want them to themselves to be drained. So I know that in the first instance, it was literally only my friends that were genuinely willing to connect their wallets because I didn't know I was not going to drain them. But other people were skeptical about it. And in order to build that trust, that's the first thing we did. We took that out so you connect your Google account. At least people are not scared, people are not skeptical, people are not afraid they're going to be drained and whatnot. Now, so and other steps is that you can actually remove your phones at any time. That's like the major thing. So aside from getting user feedback, right, like constantly trying to iterate and improve based on user feedback, you have access to your funds, which is like the major thing. I think that people having access to their funds is one way we have actually built trust or we're building trust. I don't know. I think we're still in the process of building trust. Is one way that we've built trust. People having access to their funds, people having access to like there really isn't there's really no hidden charges or sub charges if you get what I mean. Like everything is clear so you can see it I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Cool. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the next question probably would be yeah. So I know that you said that most of the users have been coming through word of mouth and stuff. So my question is,
Mm.
how big of a role does word of mouth play in your current growth, right? And how do you encourage organic sharing, organic community sharing of information, and community-led growth? So first of all, probably you should answer the one of
Please
how.
repeat the
Look, let's answer the first one. How big is word of mouth in your growth, in your company, in your project, in your product growth, usage growth? So
Okay, so that it's actually very. So I mentioned earlier that most of all our users like have come from word of mouth. Everything like we have our user base currently, our engagement, everything has is essentially been word of mouth, right? So more like okay, essentially we're in super team community and so super team NG has really done like a lot like with helping us in terms of like outreach,
okay.
right? Helping us in terms of marketing because we have not really started to do any marketing on our end because like I said we're still in testing like Subazi Menji has kind of like done that for us like in terms of like the marketing we have currently and then they are like the most of our users if not all if at all we have any user like let's say like our customer base at least 90 maybe 96 if not more right definitely think it's more like definitely up to 100% of our users are like super team NG members, super team NG community members, right? So like and the more when people use it, they recommend other people. This this product is built by someone in the community, and people start using it. So like word of mouth has played a major role. I don't know how to structure it to just, but like I want to say super ng word of mouth. I know that doesn't technically make sense as a sentence, but yeah, I'm just trying to say that it's been super ng that has been very helpful in terms of like that marketing, in terms of that push, like this their word of mouth. Because I think a lot of time, just like when you have how do I put it, when you have some sort of standing, when you have some, I think what I'm looking for is reference, where you have the reference and the respect, and then you can recommend something, people would use that thing. So I think Super Team NG has actually like recommended Streamlink and like being supportive, and as of that, because of that, people are using Streamlink because of that. Did you get me?
Yeah, I did. That's awesome. She would ask me. I think Super Team plays a big role in community development so far because the community is willing
Sorry, I
to.
cannot really hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Voice
now?
is-
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you now.
So what I meant was Super Team does play a very big role in community development because so far I think most of the products available, community members are willing to test it out for them. And that's a big stuff we talked about. Me and a couple of founders have talked about that stuff and said that the best thing you could have is distribution. Super Team has distribution. You probably, if you test from Nigeria, you could actually reach out to other super team communities, and they will definitely going to help to test out your product and grow it like widely. So that's kind of like an awesome feat to actually attain. Yeah. So next question is now I understand that you you are handling a hybrid system, right? And also know that you are also trying to integrate Solana inside. So I wanted to know, like, how do you handle this technical complexity of the hybrid system, and which includes Solana, and still keep the UI simple? Like, what happens behind the scenes that users never see, like the whole process behind the scenes?
Wait, you want me to get into the code?
No, not the
Because I
code.
think this question is quite it's a technical question.
No, not the code. Just like how will I put it? So um it's not that technical, ma. Just try to explain to us like the process from logging in to tipping and how what happens. Yeah, that's what we want to know. We don't really want to know about the code. If it is me, I would love to hear about it. You can bring it, for this is not this is not what we are discussing here. Like what are the things that happen, the components that interact with each other during the call, and also in terms of the tipping. If you very much could explain what the tipping, how the tipping works, that would be very, very much appreciated. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so firstly, I don't actually think I can answer this question without being technical. So first of all, we actually try to abstract a lot of things from like the front end so it's not clunky, and then we move a lot of our stuff to the server,
Okay.
right? So the server basically essentially does a lot of heavy lifting, and then the front end just handles like the display. So
Mhm.
we find out that it makes it less clunky. There's also a ton of optimizations that's going to be coming in maybe in the next weeks. Like some optimizations are going to be done to make it faster. But in the meantime, yeah, we do that by like abstracting a lot of things from like the user interface and just like pushing that to the server. So all like I said earlier, all the front end handles is just display of the UI, and then maybe a couple of things like fetching data from the server. But yeah, so that's the right. I really think that's the simplest way I can answer that question without getting technical.
What of
Even for the transactions,
Okay. I wanted to say what of the transaction of the tipping.
yes, even the transactions, like we just like so the transactions are essentially created on the back end and sent to the front end. So when a user is okay, now you said so how these are like in login process, you sign up or sign in, and if you're signing in, you already have a wallet address. If you're signing up, a wallet address is created for you, right? Now, this wallet address really exists. You can actually receive funds to it. So, take for instance, now I and you, Marvin, we're on a call, and I want to tip you. I can just go to your card, right? Just and then just click on that, and I'm able to tip you directly. Nothing else. So, when the user tries to send that funds, they send it to the backend. The backend creates the transaction, right, and then sends it back to the front end for the users to sign. So, a lot of things are like abstracted away from the UI.
See.
And
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm listening. Sorry.
You wanted to say something? Please spin it. Sorry, ma.
I cannot hear you. Sorry.
I said you wanted to say something. Please finish. Your. Let me see what I want to say.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that to actually ensure that I used, like, as opposed to using Next.js, I used React, because I think that unlike Next.js allows a lot of server. You can actually do a lot of server rendering when you're using Next.js, and you can't do that with React. So to ensure that the front end was like really lightweight, I actually opted to use React, so that I would have to, because at least if I was using Next.js, I know that Next.js will maybe let me get away with making something, let me get away with doing some things because of server side rendering. But using React actually forced me to make sure that all the complexities were extracted to the back end, and then the front end just handles the UI or displaying the UI.
That's awesome. See, it's not as complex as you thought that you would say it. Yeah, hot seat can make you bring things to be more easy and easy to explain. Yeah. So, um, okay. So the next question is definitely going to be, um, what partnerships or integrations has been valuable to your user adoption? So what I meant is, what integrations or partnerships you've had that has been essential to your business. So probably like, which pro companies have you partnered with? Which
Okay.
crypto platforms did you integrate their protocol with your code? So that's what we are trying to get.
All right. So currently we use Civic for authentication. Civic is what is used to generate the wallet addresses for users from their Google account.
Mhm.
That's what we currently use Civic. And aside that, then we don't really use it. Like right now, again, I mentioned earlier that we're still in testing. Up until we're done with testing, then we can actually now start integrating more protocols and more infra. But like right now, it's just Civic. I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah, it's just Civic. No that one is coming to my head, and I just know it's the odd. So it's just Civic
Civic
that we use now.
and USDC.
It's USDC and integration.
It's not a token. Yeah, don't mind me. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm joking.
Yeah, take actually. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So okay, how did you? Are you pricing your product currently? Like, how do you generate? Do you generate fees currently, or if you not,
No.
how do you intend to generate fees in the future? Is it through transaction fees or subscription? Please try to give us a hint.
Okay, so currently we're not generating fees because we're still in testing. So in the future, we most likely would generate fees from probably from transactions. So yeah, like right now, if you perform transactions on Streamlink, there are transaction fees, right? And then, but for subscriptions, that would be when we were moved out of testing, when we're sure that okay, people want to use these are the features that people have. Because essentially, as we're in testing, we're trying to add more features. We're trying to see what people would like
Mhm.
and what people will be willing to pay for. Because a lot of times people add certain features and think that people want to pay for them and then they don't. So yeah, that's part of the things we're doing now. So for now with that, but yeah, transaction fees and subscriptions most likely.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay, so I don't know how I'm to put this question, but let me just try. So, what constraints in terms of regulatory, financial, technical has shaped your product decision? Um, Let me put it in a
Constraints.
yeah,
I'm
like,
listening, sir.
what constraints have you faced in terms of regulatory, financial, or technical that you like to share with us during the process of deciding how the product is going to look like? like those challenges or costs you encountered and how did you navigate them? That's what we want to hear.
So essentially, most of the issues I've faced would be in relation to development, right?
Okay.
Trying to work as fast to meet the demand. Yeah, so it's just development issues actually. I can't really think of any other constraints or issues I've actually faced as opposed to I am financial this thing. I feel everybody faces financial issues and the startup is just like a human being. We need money. So yeah, we the financial issues are like there, but I think mostly we face like development issues and yeah, the way we move past is by to be honest, it's just development issues I can think of, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Issues in production, like in development. And when I mean
So
development, I mean like in relation to the code, writing the code. Yeah.
so that means your major issue is just financial at one point in terms of how you manage money and how you raise money for the startup and development or technical issues, right?
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
I'm saying that what you meant is that in terms of building your product so far, you've been facing some financial and some technical issues as well. But of course,
Okay, sir. Hold on, let me switch back. Let me move to my phone from my laptop.
okay,
My laptop. I cannot hear you. I don't know if it's my network and I'm echoing, so it's kind of distracting. Let me move to
okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I wasn't hearing you before.
Okay. So I'm saying that essentially in your product, the major challenges or constraints you faced are mostly technical first, and then a little bit of financial. Because yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Startups face financial issues. so
Yeah.
so I wanted to know. Next question is that we want to know what are the most what are the core activities that you and your team like do on a daily or weekly basis in terms of how you manage Streamlink, and is there anything that if you don't do now, definitely it's not going to make Streamlink function within that week or within a month? I don't know.
So, activities that I might still do. Oh shit, I'm still okay. Are you using a headset? I think you're using a headset or Bluetooth. That's why I can,
I'm
because
not
I've
using
actually switched devices.
I'm not using a headset. My headset. I'm not using a headset.
Okay. Sorry, so I was saying that I don't think there's any daily activities I and my team do, right? So first of all, the team is quite small.
Hmm.
So yeah, we might actually have like daily correspondence, like back and forth. But usually maybe on the product, it's not like if there's something to be said, then it's said. Like I think that one of the things I discovered like from working in corporate environment is that if there's really no need for a meeting, there shouldn't be one. So if we can actually see it via voice note or text or via call, get on like if like call each other up, I think it's just better than having a meeting and then just wasting each other's time and all that stuff. So if there is anything to be said, we could just like share the information, send each other a message, and that's pretty much it. So the team is quite small now, so I don't really think there's no recurring daily activity that we do, right, as a team. I assume you're talking about like a team bonding experience, right? Yeah,
No, no,
we're
no,
not
no, no,
there
no, no.
yet.
That's not what I mean. I meant in terms of the code, marketing,
Of course.
platform, how you guys manage the platform, not meeting, team, something. Like
Okay,
probably
so
you
I'm
get
actually the only developer on stuff. So do you get me?
yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So I'm only I'm currently the only developer. So there really isn't much need for a back and forth.
Okay.
Except with myself actually. I do that a lot where I talk to myself. But that's pretty much it. What then sorry, what's the second question? I hope I answered your question correctly.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I don't. So basically, if you are the one doing everything, I don't think that. So is there anything that if you don't do in a week, probably it will affect how Streamlink functions?
Okay, nothing because I to be honest, I try to get the platform to a certain way that it's functional, whether or not we push code, at least as it is now. I mean, there are some bugs that need to be fixed and things that need to be worked, but they that need to be improved. Well, they work regardless, right? So I don't think there's anything that if I don't do in a week, it would not work. I mean, there was a time when that was the case, but currently not. It's not the case.
Okay.
Or at least I
What
don't think that's the case.
what what usage
Hi,
pattern?
Marvin. Can you still hear me?
Okay. I was saying that what usage pattern have you noticed? Right? Okay, okay. Not
Mm.
that one, not that one, not that one. How do you balance mobile optimization? How do you balance mobile security, mobile optimization, right? How do you do this in a way that you ensure security while also maintaining usability? I realize that probably you know that most of this stuff that you build, you want to make sure that it is as secure as possible, and at the same time, you want it to be very, very, very usable, right? So, what
Mm.
is this? What is your approach in terms of this? In terms of as you are optimizing the platform, you are putting security in mind while making it more usable.
Okay, so essentially, I think but in my head, I think as at now, the only place that security genuinely really matters now is if like in terms of people users' phones being meshed with someone else having access to users' phones. And I think that's the major reason why the authentication is outsourced because like we use services that this is what they do, right? So they are very good at it. I think that if you pick one niche and then you specialize in that, you tend to be very good at that as opposed to users, the people products that do a ton of things at the same time. You get. So in terms of security, in my head, I think the best way to achieve that, right, would be to use platforms that trusted platforms, right, that already do this thing, already have the infra, already have the skills and the technical knowledge to handle that. If you get what I mean. Now, in terms of mobile optimization, like we're still working on that. We're still trying to make it better. So, like, hopefully, in the coming weeks, there are a lot more improvements like that you would see.
Okay. I think that's enough approach or points that are needed for that. Yeah. So the next question I wanted to ask would be: so so far you've been using Streamlink. People have been using Streamlink. As somebody who has been working more on the back end, what usage pattern have you discovered that surprised you the most? So how will I put this? There's a way that you want people to use Streamlink, but then at the end of the day, some people tend to use it in a more different way than you expected. It's more like a funny point, but it actually lets us to know that at times the way we want users to use our platform is not the way they might end up to perceive that they want to use it.
Yeah, I think to be honest, that was actually in the previous version, not this current version, because
Okay.
like Streamlink has lived many lives, has been through various situations. So in the previous versions, I think there were certain features that were added that users did not use. Like they added the agenda feature and nobody was using it, right? I really thought that was going to be like would I say like a major hit. I mean, we are revamping that to bring it back and hopefully people will use it this time, right? But like then we added it and then nobody was essentially using it. Like I checked and when I checked the DB, I wasn't seeing much usage or people were using it wrongly. And it was like, I mean, the day I looked through the DB, I was like, fuck. I was essentially surprised, right? With the way users were using like the agendas, we're not necessarily, first of all, a lot of users were creating calls and okay, so initially, right, it used to be if you don't create an agenda, you cannot create the call. Agendas were like compulsory, right, for calls. But then I realized a lot of times that people just filled a lot of rubbish, just to like rubbish in terms like you know how when you just feel gibberish and stuff. So it is that they have created an agenda, so they can create a call, and then they were not necessarily using that. So like that was the first thing. So we actually like first of all yank that process like where user can create a stream without having to add an agenda. That was the first thing. And subsequently, like right now with current version, there really isn't an agenda there because I realized that users don't even really use it, and nobody has ever actually even said anything about the agendas anymore. But like I said, we're hoping to when we bring it back, it's better, and then people actually get use it more. So that would be nice. But yeah, that was actually the first shocker because I genuinely thought that was going to be a hit.
So I think you could have made it to be more of like an optional stuff, not necessarily have to be compulsory.
Yeah, so the first time in my head, I just assumed it was compulsory to be nice, at least to differentiate us. Yeah, but initially, even when we made it optional, people now stopped using it. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is okay, what would you tell a Silicon Valley founder trying to build a similar product as yours, right? What will you tell them? Like information that you tell them, like things that they will get wrong about the Nigerian market or the market you're addressing now that you've discovered through testing and iteration.
So first of all, I don't think I need to tell a Silicon Valley founder anything. They know better than me. So I
No,
mean,
no, 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 don't say like that. From your experience of understanding the market, it's actually something that you know or insight that you want to give that those people do not have.
well, I think that to be honest, nothing is coming to my head. What insight would I say that? I don't know. I think maybe people would like to have access to their money, which is something I think everybody already knows. So I don't really think there's anything that I want to say that somebody does not know, if I'm being honest. I don't think there's nothing I think I want to say to you about the stuff that you don't know. And so I really cannot say anything at least nothing is coming to my head, to be honest.
You've already said what is needed to be said. People like having access to their money. I think that's one of
Yeah,
the.
but I think that's common
It's
knowledge.
not common because most streaming platforms today don't give people access to their money now. They set
Fair
withdrawal
enough.
limits and stuff like that. Do you know that as a streamer you don't what they call it? There's a particular withdrawal limit before you can be able to withdraw the money out of the platform. You can't just withdraw the money anytime. Look for example on X, if you are influencing on X, you do not get your
Mm.
money. You get the money at the end of 3 months. So based on your influencing, at the end of 3 months, that's when you receive your money. Or Twitch, it's based on it's based on the withdrawal limit that you have reached. Or if it is TikTok, the same thing. Do you get my point? So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a very big point, and you just see it casually, like it's just very easy. Wow, seems like a natural founder.
I'm assuming that you're wearing me, shampoo. Thank you.
Okay, so um okay, so what what's one design decision you've made that you think every Web3 product should copy, right?
I think that you should abstract the complexity.
Hmm. Okay, I think that's
Like I think that
go ahead, go ahead, go
structure
ahead, go ahead.
okay, like subtract or abstract the complexity. Users don't need to know the technical, they don't need to know they don't need to know the tech. They just need to be able to use it, right? So like subtract the complexity, make it easy for people to use. Like if you have a web 2 counterpart, look at it and say, what are these guys doing, right? Because and how can I make my app more like them? I think in terms of like UX and UI, Web3 is not there yet, and then that's something that Web2 platforms are fucking killing it. So I think that if you have a Web2 counterpart, I think you should generally just look at their flow, especially their UX and their UI, and try to replicate that, right? So abstract the complexity. People don't need to know all the robots that's happening. People don't need to know the tech. Users don't care. Like I remember one particular time like that. I was trying to get feedback from Zubi on something, and then like my UI was shit, and it was trying to tell me, "Oh, do this, do that," and he told me, "It's like I'm very sure the tech is nice. I'm very very sure that there's a lot of wonderful things happening underneath it, and there is, but users don't care about that. Users don't care about all the tech. Users don't care about how long you're taking. Users don't care about all those tech. They just care about being able to use it. It goes well for them. They can sign it. They can do what they want. They can get out. Like that's just it for them, right? So abstract their complexities. Nobody cares about it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So I was talking to my co-founder, Dave, that it doesn't really, we don't really, it doesn't really, we don't really, I don't really me as like the other half of the project. I don't really care about the technology. I know that I am a developer and I do research as well, but I will try as much as possible to abstract away every feeling that makes the platform look technical and try to
Yeah,
appeal to the user's emotion by solving their needs, meeting them with the language and meeting them at the point where they at their own where they are and speaking their own language, not my language, which is code.
true.
So yeah. So how do you balance local optimization for with global ambition? So how do you, while you are building this product, consider a scale locally while you attempt to build for a global community in the future?
Interesting. How do I answer this question now? How do I balance global? Well, to be honest, I haven't actually. I know it's going to sound funny, but I really haven't given that much thought because, like I said, we're still in development. But most of the features that we've added and we're adding, things that we think would also scale right in the global market. I think that as a founder, especially in the Nigerian space, it is important that you don't limit yourself to building or thinking that you want to build for Nigerians because I know somebody will say a lot of times that Nigerians don't really like to pay. And it's not necessarily a lie. And there are services that me I won't pay for, and just it's just what it is, right? But there are services that I will pay for, but there are services that I won't pay for. But a lot of times people don't necessarily want to pay for certain things. But anyway, like I said, like we're still like adding features and. But as a founder, as a Nigerian founder, you don't think you should limit yourself to building for the Nigerian market because, for one, I actually don't think that crypto is still not legal in Nigeria. Correct me if I'm wrong, but crypto is still not legal in Nigeria. So if you limit yourself to building. And again, I realize I may not be answering your question. But if you limit yourself to building for like the Niger or thinking like Nigeria, because to be honest, most of the problems I try to solve, I'm not really thinking about the Nigerian market because for one, crypto is not legal in Nigeria. So it's not. I'm not really thinking about Nigeria. I'm thinking of okay, how can Streamlink compete with the global market? The features that Streamlink has are features that okay, fair enough. I mean, in terms of, but yeah, even other streaming platforms, just like you said, won't let you have access to your money like willy nilly, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we do, a lot of features, and we're not necessarily targeting the Nigerian market. Like it's not like we're saying, oh, Nigerians can't use Nigeria. No, no, we're just like not necessarily targeting the market because for starters, crypto is not legal in Nigeria. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. So I've always said that limiting your product to the Nigerian market is kind of like short-sightedness, and it means that you probably do not want to move beyond the current interface that you are in. So yeah, the current space that you are in. So yeah, I think that's an awesome answer to the question. So I wanted to ask the next question is, what's the biggest misconception the global community Web3 builders have of Nigerian users? What do you think is
Sorry, come again. I didn't hear you.
what do you think is the biggest misconception that global Web3 builders have about African users?
Okay, so I want to say something that a lot of people might disagree with.
Go
But
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Be controversial. You are free.
I think there are a lot of their nuances or observation. Most of the things they think is deeply rooted in racism. Because I think that they like true Africa is poor, true Nigeria is poor. But I think that there are certain things that they say and then they think and then you just know that yeah, in as much as Nigeria is poor and then yes, we might be the poverty capital of the world, I don't think we are. But I think a lot of their a lot of things they think is deeply rooted in racism. Just like you thinking, okay, yeah, fair enough. A lot of Nigerians in like a lot of Nigerians that don't use like smartphones, a lot of Nigerians that they don't have access to internet, right? I think that like privilege is something that blinds you. So I mean, I might be saying that oh, people have access to internet and a lot of people don't have. But me, I have access to internet. I know that some people do not have. right? So I think a lot of their takes and their stuff is rooted in racism. And I think that a lot of times they need to like step back and think of us like, yes, we might not be equal on the technological sphere, but are you really that much better than us?
No, I think that a lot of I think I will agree with you. Like a lot of their conceptions are actually deep rooted in racism, if you could say. But I think it's more of ignorance in terms of them not being in the Nigerian market to understand how the Nigerian market is. Because when it comes to the workforce on the internet currently now, Nigeria is among one of the highest amount of people that have in workforce, right? When it also comes to the amount of people who use USDC to make transactions, value processed in USDC and USDT, I think Nigerians are among one of the top people that are doing that. This does not only show that Nigerian economy in terms of people that are active online is increasing. Last time I remember, about 150 million people actually have access to smartphones. This only doesn't only exercise or explain that Nigerians are actually active online, but it also shows that we have at one point or another made an online payment at different caliber levels, either via card payments or stable coins. Yeah.
I agree with you.
So the next question is, where do you see your product in the next 2 years, and what new behaviors or use cases you are trying to unlock by then?
Okay, so what I expect product to do is hopefully global, because like right now, like very few, like right now it is, much as I say I'm not building for, we're not necessarily like limiting ourselves to Nigerians and Africa. Right now most of our users reside in Nigeria, right? So hopefully by then we could have actually gone more global scaled. I really hope that maybe hopefully in the next 2 years is like a super team tool, not a super team NG tool, right? It's a super team, a global super team tool, hopefully. Um there's another question you asked. Please ask that question again, I
I,
forget.
I, I said, what new use cases or behaviors that you would like to unlock?
Okay, to be honest, right? Right now, I think most of the use cases and features will be added based on user feedback. So I really cannot say what people would want in the future, if you get what I'm trying to say. So we would always iterate based on user feedback, based on user data. Yeah. So I can't really say the use case and the features as at now because I don't know. I might say something and then users will say, "Oh, you know what? No, we don't want this. Oh, we don't like that." And bear in mind again that the trends, like the global trends, also like affect not just Streamlink, a lot of products. The global trends would always affect the way the direction that your product goes. So if by then like they don't know the trend that's going to be, so I really can't say.
Okay. So
What do you say?
I said, okay, that's awesome. So the last question is, we want metrics, we want information, data so far. So do you have any metrics or data that will currently show your the product market fit level that you are in? Like amount of user logins, amount of wallet created, amount of streams, amount of participations in streams. So we need those information.
Yeah,
Please give us the
yeah,
data.
we do. We have that. We actually announced that we already crossed like 10K users, 10K call participants, actually, not users.
Okay.
So we have access to our metrics, and we're actually available for anybody that wants them. It's not
You
hidden information. It's public. If you
you
want it,
can
I can
just
get it for you.
you can just let me know now. Like how many users do you guys have currently?
Okay, so I'll check, but as at last week we had 10K users. The number might have increased maybe slightly, maybe not that much, but slightly.
10K. That
Yeah,
means
10K call participants. Yeah.
okay, call participants. Okay, what of
Yeah.
um
We have like over like 3,000 unique users
okay,
from January till now. Three
three
thousand something. I'll check again.
3,000 plus. That's enough for us. We don't
Yes.
need to write too much. So we
Okay.
have you have about 10,000 call participants so far
Yes.
and
Yeah.
3,000 unique users. 3,000
No,
plus.
3,000 unique call participants. Like so, some participants are like repeating.
Okay,
That is part of the 10K.
3,000 plus unique call participants, right?
No, sorry, 3,000 plus unique call participants,
Unique, yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unique. Then over time, we've had 10K call participants. Like some people keep joining calls and stuff like that. And then our streams created is like, I will check that and get back to you. I think 2000 something. Wait, I checked, I sent that to somebody last week. Give me a bit.
Please, please. Total amount of streams created, please. That would be very valuable.
Okay, let me check that. Um, Aha. So as at last week when we had 10K call participants, right? We had 2,295 streams created.
So let's just call it like
Can you hear me, please?
say 2000 how
I
many?
can't.
2000 how many?
2,295.
Okay, that's almost 2300 um
Yes, yes.
streams. Wow.
Created, just streams created. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So is there anything you want to say to other founders in Super Team? Any closing charge that you have for them?
Yeah, maybe like have a small team. I
Okay.
think that too many cooks spoil the broth.
Okay. That's good. I can live with that.
You can do it.
I said I can live with that. I can live with that.
Why did you say you can live with it? Is it wrong?
No, it's not that it's wrong, basically. I think a lot of people do not realize that a small team is very, very important. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I know that a lot of times when you have a startup and then you lock all your friends inside,
yeah, I think
you
that
give everybody everything, and they're not doing anything.
I think this thing you've said, this lately has happened to me a lot, multiple times that I've tried to create startup. Most of them have failed though. But currently, how I operate is we have rules like more of like a fully defined rules. I take on like anything that has to do with paperwork, product development, um, marketing, research, you know, interaction with investors, all those parts, grants and the rest, everything that has to do with the administrative part. Although I'm a developer, but I more or less like to like take on that role. And then my co-founder works more on everything that has to do with the code. Do you get?
Yeah, I get that.
So that then there are people that we bring in that probably we doing the design and the rest. So by us, from my point of view, by us reducing the amount of people that is in the team at that time, it allows us to actually become effective. Because too many people in the
Yeah,
team probably will not have somebody will not be complaining tomorrow that oh I'm tired, I don't want to work again, blah 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 blah. But when we are just like few people in the team, definitely helps us to actually scale because our interests are more aligned. It's only when we
exactly.
now probably like have big, we now can now like put some people on payroll. We can now like okay, let's expand the team. But for the early stage, I don't think that's like viable. It's just my opinion though.
Exactly.
It's my
No, I
opinion.
agree with you, and it's my opinion as well. I think if you scale, then you can get more people, then you can pay them. Because I think that a lot of times when you pay people, they take the work seriously. When you're giving somebody equity, it's just like somebody buying a future, like those stock called futures. You don't know whether it's going to scale. So they do it like artistically because they're like, well, what's to say that after I finish wasting my time, this startup will even grow. You get?
Yeah, I
So
think
that having a small team is nice. When you raise, you can now pay people, then you can have a larger team.
yeah,
Because you're paying everybody, everybody knows their job description. You can also sack them. But when you give people equity, a lot of times you're very lax. You're like, I know it's like I'm not paying this person, I just give the person equity. You just ignore whatever it is they are doing.
yeah. I think so, but I don't think. I think it's more of for me. I probably think it's more of a mindset. It's not. It's a mindset problem, not um more of. It's more of a mindset problem. Literally. So if me, I have a mindset that oh, my contribution is more of equity, and I have the ability to like shape the business moving forward in the future, right? I'm probably going to be working hard on how to expand the business. So I prefer in
I know everybody thinks like that.
yeah, and that's what I'm talking about more of a mindset. I prefer to work for equity because if it blows up, boom, awesome. For me, that's
Exactly. Like I worked for my friend has a startup, right?
yeah.
I worked on the back end and the mobile app when he was trying to get started. I have equity. He hasn't said anything about it for a while, right?
Mhm.
But I know that if something happens tomorrow, I still have equity there, I have a contract and whatnot. I did the work and I did not mind because I knew that first of all I actually believed in the product and I wanted to buy it and I thought like, you know what's the best way that other than my skill?
Okay.
You get? So
That
but it's not everybody that thinks like that.
yeah, that's what I'm
It's what
talking
it
about.
is.
Not most people don't think about equity. No, well, I think that's something more Nigerians should actually start thinking about more or less. But the problem is more of they might actually have their own financial issues. Considering
Yeah.
the situation of Nigeria, not everybody probably going to think like how me and you are thinking right now. So it's
True.
not it's not
No, that's the thing is now who chop go work.
that's true, that's true, that's very very true. But anyways, I appreciate you coming on the call, hopping on the call with me. I hope it didn't feel like an interrogation. It felt more like a discussion. I hope so. I tried my best to
Yeah,
make. You said?
I said initially it felt like that, but subsequently it was not like that.
Are you serious? Did it sound like a interrogation?
Well, interview, but like very formal, but like towards the end it got more conversational.
Okay, 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 yeah. I think I'll work on making it more conversational in the future. But anyways,
That's fine.
thank you very much for coming, and I
Yeah.
appreciate. Maybe we'll do this
Yeah,
some other time. Probably when you guys
that's
want
fine.
to do marketing or stuff. Okay,
Sure.
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And
You don't need the matrix, right? You already have them.
the what? Yeah, yeah.
The,
It's in.
okay, that's
You've
fine.
already said them already, literally. Or if you want to send them
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me, you
yeah. I
can.
just wanted to be sure if I still need to send it to you so that I don't forget. I'm not even sure if there's something you expected from me.
You could
You know what I
send.
mean?
You could still send them to me anyways, so that I can share them. If you send them to me.
That's fine. Okay, I'll do just that. I just wanted to be sure so that it's not later you're messaging me. I'm like, wait, am I supposed to send Marvin something? So,
You could send them to me anyways. Thank you very much for
okay, no
coming.
problem.
I really, really
Yeah, sure.
appreciate. And
Yeah, thank you,
yeah,
guys. Thank you
thanks.
for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Bye. Thanks.
yeah, bye.
Bye. So yeah, that's me, and it was a lovely conversation. I think this is one of the longest conversations we've had so far, but I think it has been interesting, and I find it very interesting. Thank you very much, and we will see in the next one. Bye for now.